Come in, let us bow and bend low. Let us kneel before God who made us. For he is our God, and we the people. Who belong to his pasture. The flock that is led by his hand. Oh, that today you would listen to his voice. Harden not your hearts as at Meribah. As on that day at Massah in the desert. When your fathers put me to the test. When they tried me, though they saw my work.
Hello, Monsignor Daniel McHugh. My reflection for the 23rd week in Ordinary Time. Oh, that today you would listen to his voice, harden not your hearts. This past week, it has been reported that the numbers of passengers on a TUI flight from Greece to Cardiff infected by coronavirus through people not wearing masks or not wearing them properly has jumped from 7 to 16. As a result, some 193 people have to be contacted and tested. After all the warnings, people are refusing to listen. I thought of this as I read the first reading from Ezekiel in the Mass for the 23rd Sunday. Ezekiel was to be the sentry, a watchman for God's people, to speak truth to them. Not an easy task. Many prophets had to suffer for what they said. We hear of them being rejected, being stoned, and of course John the Baptist, whose feast we kept recently, the 29th of August, was beheaded for questioning behavior of Herod. The Gospel of Matthew deals with the issue of behavior in the church, and Jesus guides the disciples on ways to deal with it. And fortunately, at the level of the Pope himself, we have a great sentry, a watchman who steers us in the right direction on some of the great issues of our day. I am thinking particularly of his teaching on the environment and our care for the earth, our common home, which he has reflected on again this past week in terms of the way we exploit it for our own greedy ends, often at the expense of the poor and vulnerable. He has spoken too about the pandemic and justice for the most in need in this difficult time, particularly those who may not have access to proper health care. The issue for us today is summed up in the response to the psalm, "Oh, that today you would listen to his voice, harden not your hearts." Often we listen but do not want to hear in case it challenges our way of acting. We are fortunate to have the words of St. Paul in the letter to the Romans this Sunday. Avoid getting into debt except the debt of mutual love. I say fortunate. A better word is blessed, because this is the basis of a century's task. he or she is called to bring to the flock God's message in the context of love. It doesn't make it easy, though, as you will know. Bringing the right way of doing things to the attention of your children or family can be a challenge, yet that is what we are called to do. My thoughts go to Lebanon and its political leaders and the disaster that came to Beirut with 300,000 homes destroyed. They had been warned about the storage of chemicals, but they had not listened. And if they did not hear what it meant and take action. And the people going to rave parties here at home and or not keeping to guidelines to avoid spreading the virus. The result, many more infections. It is a difficult time for all who seek to take the right path and correct others who are inclined to be selfish. This is why in the Burning Bush vlog I produce weekly with friends, I chose the hymn, "Lead us, Heavenly Father, lead us, o'er the world's tempestuous sea." On this Education Sunday, we are particularly conscious of making the right decisions for our children going to school and those going to university, that they may be safe in this time of the pandemic. But education is not just for young people. It needs to continue all through life. Adults need to learn too and to be concerned for each other. Pope Francis spoke of the need for solidarity in going beyond the pandemic. I don't conduct many funerals these days, now that I am not a parish priest, but I conducted one recently. It was sad that we were limited to just 30 people who had to be socially distanced and wearing masks and taking Holy Communion in the hand. And everyone had to sanitize and be recorded in case any infection took place. But everyone followed the agreed guidelines from the church and state. We did what is right for the deceased and the church community. A recording of Nessun Dorma, No One Sleeps, sung by Pavarotti, was played on the way out, and we gave thanks for a wonderful life that will now be fulfilled in heaven. It was different, like the Mass we have each Sunday, but thank God for looking over us. Oh, that today you would listen to his voice. Harden not your hearts.